Good morning, Fort Collins, Colorado. It is July 29th, 2020, coming at you with your biweekly real estate analysis for Fort Collins. In general, the Fort Collins real estate market has just been going bananas with real estate sitting on the market for only about 45 days from going on the market to closing. Interest rates below 3 APR and inventory just extremely contracted. There's a few deadlines coming up that are extremely important, but seemingly may get resolved sooner than later within Congress, which is the $600 a week additional boost for unemployment. They're talking somewhere in between 200 and 600 and trying to maybe tier that off or reduce it as we move forward. Essentially, giving people incentive to go back to work while not necessarily cutting off their lifeline. It's important. It doesn't look like it's going to be passed before July 31st, which is when that additional $600 boost expires, but seemingly something will be passed. Also, there will be an additional $1,200 stimulus for individuals. I believe going to be following the same income guidelines, and then $500 per dependent. It looks like there's going to be an additional round of PPP funding, which is really exciting for those that have been making less than 50% of their revenue this time last year. So restaurants and retailers, I would really be watching this. If your business got impacted and you're making less than 50% of the revenue that you were last year, I'd really be paying attention to this and just getting ready to get your bank, that small bank that you've been working through, teed up to get that PPP application in and more funds your way. So other than that, let's jump in to the biweekly analysis. So one of the things that I really saw that I thought was really important is looking at the median list price, which will ultimately affect the median sales price, but we're seeing about 30% of homes that are on the market have at least one decently significant price reduction with a median price reduction of about $10,000. So that 10% number that is higher than last year of a median list price of $490,000 has been pretty consistent. So I expect to see that median sales price tick up from last year's 400 to 425. We've been seeing it as I've stated here in July, a 3-week average of the biweekly analysis numbers for the median sales price of $453,000. You can really attribute that to extremely low interest rates. There's the 1% rule to the 10% rule. If interest rates go down by 1%, your purchasing power goes up by 10%, meaning if you have a $400,000 loan and at 4%, your your monthly payment is going to be X, and interest rates go down from 4% to 3%, you could actually buy a house worth $440,000 while keeping that same payment of X. So your purchasing power really does increase with how low interest rates are. So that gives the ability of these median sales prices to increase to where they are. In addition, we have 26% less homes on the market than we did last year. So basics of economics, supply and demand, if we have 26% less homes while still having the exact same number of homes sold during this time last year, supply is less, but the demand's the same, so prices are going to have to increase, just basics. So there's going to have to be a lot to change for at least the Fort Collins market to be negatively impacted by, the coronavirus. And I also think the elections coming up are, regardless of what side you're on or who you're voting for, is going to have, wreak havoc on any of the markets. No one's going to be happy, it seems, whoever gets voted in. So that, and then the PPP funding at the end of the year, I don't know if that's a date anymore. It's too far out in the future. I used to have 3 dates that I cared about, which was July 31st because of the unemployment that was ending, or the additional $600 boost, the elections, and then December 31st, because that was when the PPP funding, the funds had to be used up by per the guidelines so that you can get them forgiven. But honestly, 6 months out, 5 months out is just way too far out for anything to be certain. And I think those dates could change. So all that being said, we would have to see our inventory increase by about 4 to 5 times to start seeing a some pressure on sales prices and the market, because we're seeing the same amount of days on market, which means essentially the houses are going to sit for 5 to 10 days. They're going to go under contract, and the majority of them are going to close. So in reality, I'm seeing the same, demand, less supply, days on market are sticking to be the same. Median price, list price is 10% higher. Median sales price is ticking up as well. So the Fort Collins real estate market is strong. I've been talking with quite a few buyers who are wanting to sit on the sidelines and wait this out. I don't disagree with that, just because there is so much uncertainty right now. But I also feel like locking in an interest rate of historic lows, so long as you're going to be living in Fort Collins for your foreseeable future and have strong employment, buying a house now, not renting, is an option that is worth exploring. That being said, I have noticed a little bit more for rent signs on the market, which I also believe if CSU does not come back, which it looks like they are, but if they do not come back, I've been talking with several investors who are either selling their portfolios or looking to sell their portfolios of CSU student housing. So that is kind of an X factor that we really need to watch here in Fort Collins. I believe that Fort Collins is a very diverse economy, but ultimately we are reliant on CSUs and their income that they bring in through students spending money out at the bars, restaurants, the salaries that professors get paid, and the amount of activity that the university brings. Obviously, we're not going to have football. It doesn't even look like, or we might have football, but it doesn't look like it's going to be near as what it could be. Basketball, who knows? So regardless, the ancillary spending that these students bring to the city of Fort Collins probably is not going to be what it has been historically, and hopefully we can withstand that. And commercial retailers, this very special PPP funding coming through of those retailers who've been hit by 50% of a revenue drop could really be significant. So if you're in business, pay attention to what's going on in Congress, what the government's doing to help support through these times, and be thankful that if you're in Fort Collins or Northern Colorado, that we live in such a vibrant community where people want to be here, want to live, can spread out, social distance, and maintain their health. So this is Patrick Sugup with Sugup Real Estate Services, bringing you this bi-weekly analysis. I really enjoy doing this. Love to hear your feedback, your comments, and your questions. Hope all is well. Have a great day.